It was a close one, but the record is safe. It's a dubious record, but it's a record that South Carolina can hold on to. Strom Thurmond's 24-hour and 18-minute filibuster, the longest filibuster in the history of the United States, and it's held by a proud South Carolinian. It's not necessarily something South Carolinians would be proud of, since he was filibustering desegregation. But it's something that, hey, we did it best. But that record came in jeopardy today. Well, yesterday and today. When another Southerner from the great state of Texas, Senator Ted Cruz, filibustered for 22 hours. Now, we got a little worried that he might pass Senator Thurmond's record, but he stopped 22 seconds. Now, what was he filibustering about? Well, during that 22 hours, he decried the evils of Obamacare, implored his fellow senators to defund Obamacare, highlighted the dangers to America because of Obamacare, and he read Green Eggs and Ham as a goodnight story to his children. Seriously, Senator Cruz took 22 hours to filibuster, and I've got to take my hat off to him for actually filibustering. We've talked on our show, Another Voice with Eric and Friends, multiple times about how the filibuster has become perverted and watered down to the point where a couple of senators can say, hey, we're going to filibuster, and that's it. Senator Cruz, he put his whole being into doing this, and it was to defund Obamacare. The House, in a almost partisan line vote, voted to fund everything in the government in a continuing resolution until the end of this year, except Obamacare. And now it's sent to the Senate, and the Senate is set to debate and vote on it. Now, I'm a bit confused as to what Senator Cruz was doing, because after his 22 hours, there was a vote. Well, let me go back. During his 22 hours, he mentioned multiple times that a vote for cloture, ending debate, would be a vote for Obamacare. After his 22 hours, probably about an hour after, the Senate voted to continue discussions and debate on Obamacare. And every U.S. senator voted to move the bill forward to discuss and debate and then vote on the funding of the government and Obamacare. And I scratched my head when I heard that. He was just railing against Obamacare, telling us that you shouldn't vote for cloture. Well, the Senate is a funny place. They've got lots of rules that have been made over hundreds of years, and most of us don't understand them. And I'm willing to venture that many of those folks in the Senate chamber aren't quite aware of all of them. So after a little more study, I've discovered what exactly was going on. The bill from the House, which includes, it's a continuing resolution, and it includes funding everything but specifically not funding Obamacare, is what's in the Senate right now. And they have agreed to move the bill forward for 30 hours of debate, so that by Friday they can vote on whether to end debate or not, or to vote for cloture. And this is what is happening. During that 30 hours, one of the nice rules that they have in the Senate is the Senate Majority Leader, who is Harry Reid, can introduce an amendment that takes that thing about not funding Obamacare out and puts in funding Obamacare, and it would only require a vote of 51, a majority vote, which Shockingly, that's kind of what the Constitution says, but Senate procedure over the last decade or so has gotten to the point where almost everything has to have a supermajority, and that's a whole other story. So during that 30 hours of debate, the speaker, the Senate Majority Leader can add that in there, and this is where Senator Cruz was saying, "Don't vote for cloture," because they expect Harry Reid to do that, and then someone else will have to filibuster to avoid that being done, because the Democrats have the 51 votes that they need, or at least they believe they do, to strip out the not funding of Obamacare and just use the continuing resolution to fund everything. I'm still a little confused, because the concept from the House was, we're going to fund the government, we're just not going to fund Obamacare. And we dare the president to shut down the government over Obamacare. It'll be his fault. But now they've introduced this in the Senate. He had his filibuster, and I kind of think that it was, hey, everybody, pay attention. This is very important. I give him kudos on that, because that really did draw the attention. Now they're going to have 30 hours of debate, including whether or not they add that amendment, which I can't imagine that Harry Reid would not do. But that's going to either call the Republicans to filibuster again, and then they would be the ones to shut down the government, because they would be the ones filibustering at the end of the week, right before the budget our budget this time, our continuing resolution runs out. So then they would be the ones holding things up, or they let it go to a straight vote and lose the vote. Well, that means then there would have to be a committee with the House and the Senate and find some compromise, which would guarantee there's not going to be a new continuing resolution in time before the government would shut down. Now, it might only take a day or two. So I'm not sure what the Republican strategy is in here. I'm not sure. It seems to me that Senator Cruz could have made a nice, fine speech and used those 22 hours as part of the 30 hours of debate, so that there would be time for more maneuvering to avoid the shutdown of the government. Did I mention that shutting down the government's not a good thing? I don't remember if I said that. Shutting down the government's not a good thing. I know I have friends on the right who say, yeah, shut it down, they're doing too much. But shutting down the government means that the employees, the evil federal employees, that answer your questions at the IRS, that are part of Homeland Security, part of the FBI, that take your paperwork in when you apply for Social Security, who work at the parks, who are a large section of the economic power of this country. If the government shuts down, they go on furlough, which means, hey, you don't have to come to work, but we're not going to pay you. Now, they might, if this happens, they might get money back when they get back reinstated. But in the meantime, this tenuous economy that relies on spending is going to have a little bump. Of course, it is also a fact that in about 2 weeks, there's another big debate, raising the debt ceiling. And I just read that the GOP is considering raising the debt ceiling, as long as I get this, and this, and that's for another video. So, in conclusion, I'm slightly confused as to what Senator Cruz was hoping to accomplish today. I do know one thing, and I'll give him this. He has framed the debate. He is the opening salvo against the Affordable Care Act in a very clear and definite way. But I think it was a waste of time if you're trying to actually keep the government open. Maybe that's the thing. All right, we'll be talking about this and more on next week's podcast, which you'll be able to find on canIGetAWordIn.com Monday evening. You can go to Facebook at Another Voice with Eric and Friends. Find us there. And comment on both places. And if you're in the Greenville, Spartanburg area, I recommend you call McLean Systems Incorporated if you need some carpets cleaned or upholstery or area rugs. 864-801-9644, or find them on the web at carpetcleaninggreer.com. decrying.com. Until the next time we talk, get out in your community and make a difference.